Started off working at my mom's house. But I'm still stuck inside my mom's house. Dreaming about 10 bands when I'm walking out. Then I wake up, boy, what you talking about? You ain't never gonna catch me slipping. Just wait until you see me winning. And I'ma tell you from the jump, I just hope you listen.
Welcome back to another edition of Cover 2 Sports. I'm Chase Hope.
I'm Luke Sullivan.
And around here, we don't blow any coverages.
Unless you're Tennessee secondary and it's the final play of the game at the Swamp, somebody got left open. And unfortunately, how does it feel to be a Tennessee fan, Chase?
Well, as a Tennessee fan,
Loyal Tennessee fan.
as a very loyal Tennessee fan, to be honest, man, it broke my heart. I now understand how Georgia felt last year. But, you know, obviously I'm going to say, man, it really sucks, dude.
Is it time for Butch Jones to go?
I'm tired of Butch.
Yeah.
It's not just because of this loss. It's because the play calling is absolutely atrocious. I mean, you have first and goal at the half-yard line with one of the best backs in college football, if not the best, in John Kelly, and you don't hand him the ball. You do 4 consecutive passes, have a false start, and you don't give your best player who's consistently been eating yards, man, tearing Florida up. You don't give him the ball to score. If he scores that touchdown, is that Hail Mary even happen? Probably not.
My question is, if you're the defensive back, why don't you just tackle the guy? It's a 15-yard penalty, I get that. But then they have one untimed down to throw the Hail Mary, which means you get to put 7 or 8 guys back at the goal line to prevent the Hail Mary from even happening. That guy was so wide open that it was not even close.
No, it wasn't close at all. I mean, it's like, first off, what is the DB thinking, the defensive back? What's he thinking? He's right there stride for stride, and then he stops. It's like he just stops to look up, see where the ball's at.
Well, he saw the tight end in the flat.
Why are you going to go cover the flat, though?
Yeah, I don't know. There was how many seconds were left on the clock when he snapped the ball? 8,
I believe
9, 10.
If that.
Yeah,
I mean,
you're not going to be able to get a pass out, an out route 20 yards down the field to a tight end, him get out of bounds, and then you have enough time to run another play. If I'm the defensive back, which, I mean, hindsight's always 20/20.
Yeah, it definitely is.
And probably in that coverage, that was what he was supposed to do. I'm sure of it. But it's a blown coverage because he left the safety out to dry.
You know,
he did. He left that poor guy out to dry, and it's not his fault he didn't get back to the ball.
No, it's not his fault at all.
Like,
I mean, honestly, I'm glad we don't blow coverages like that. Every now and then we might allow a deep pass, but, son, we don't blow them.
I would have just tackled the wideout and took one untimed down for the end of the game.
Yeah, I agree.
Why can Tennessee not beat Florida in the Swamp?
I don't know,
this
man.
This is not a Butch Jones problem. This is a Tennessee problem.
It kind of is a Butch Jones problem because, first off, in a Hail Mary situation, why are you not having 3 deep safeties? Why are you rushing 4? Okay, if you rush 4, at least have 3 deep. You cannot allow a receiver to get behind your defense. You got to sag off the coverage and just prevent that Hail Mary.
Well, you know,
it's not because honestly, it's completely different than the whole Tennessee-Georgia Hail Mary because Georgia, they had the perfect defense.
Yeah, they knew
the difference was Juwan Jennings went up and grabbed it.
He made a play.
This guy didn't even jump for it. It fell right in his hands.
He just dove.
Fell right in his hands.
Pretty touchdown.
And I'm not going to lie. It was a beautiful throw by Felipe Frank.
Oh, that dude's got a cannon on him.
And it kills me to say this, man.
The Florida might have finally found their quarterback.
Maybe.
We've been saying that a lot.
Since Tebow?
Yeah, we've said that a lot. You know, but I hate to break it to you, but the best team in Tennessee is definitely my Vanderbilt Commodores. 3-0.
Guys, Luke, for the first time, and maybe ever, first time in his life, I'm sure, can finally say Vanderbilt's the best team in Tennessee.
Well, no, we were the best team in Tennessee last year, too, if you remember.
Just because I don't think one game makes you the best team. Y'all did beat us.
You beat Tennessee by 25.
Hey.
I think the Tennessee team was supposed to what? They were a playoff contender last year. Quote unquote.
To some people.
Tennessee fans
I try to be realistic.
Tennessee fans are the most unrealistic people in the country. I hope you guys know that.
Don't throw me into this category.
Well, I'm not saying you, but the vast majority of people that are Tennessee fans are not great sports fans because they think, oh yeah, orange, white, baby, this is our year. And it's blind faith. And maybe I'm a narcissist because I'm a Vanderbilt fan and we suck most of the time. Maybe that's it. I don't know. Tennessee, in my lifetime and Chase's lifetime, they've had one good season. They won the national title, and they have been nothing but average since then.
Back in 98, and I don't even remember.
It's not even close how average Tennessee has been in the last 15 years. It's not. Like, and you know what? People say, oh, not enough talent. There's great talent coming out of that program.
The problem is, guys, it's not the recruiting. I'll give credit to Butch all day when it comes to recruiting. He's one of the best recruiters in the game. But when it comes to coaching and play calling, he's absolutely horrid.
Awful. But you know who can recruit and is also a good game manager? Chip Kelly.
Is it time for Chip Kelly? Is it time for Tennessee to make a call to Chip Kelly?
Unless LSU does first.
I would love to have Chip Kelly.
Who gets him? Is it Tennessee or is it LSU?
I think if Chip Kelly had his choice, he'd probably choose LSU.
I would too.
And I can't blame him.
No, I wouldn't. I wouldn't blame him either.
Going back to this Vanderbilt, when's the last time? Honestly, they started out 3-0, and within them first 3 games, they beat a nationally ranked team.
Never.
Which they beat Kansas State last night, 14-7.
Yeah, that's a classic Vanderbilt game too. The defense comes through. Derek Mason, he's doing a great job with the defense. Offense needs to be a little bit better. They're still leaps and bounds above where they've been the last couple of years.
Definitely.
Kyle Shermer's a great quarterback.
There's so much growth in Shermer.
Yeah,
I mean, I've seen so much growth in him.
We still have Ralph Webb, who I think is one of the more underrated running backs in the entire country because he balls.
Oh, he's definitely a stud. I mean, I'm not saying he's going to be a first-round pick, second round, but he's going to get drafted, and I think whoever drafts him
has a career in the NFL.
Whoever drafts him is going to get potentially a steal because he's the real deal in my eyes.
Yeah, I agree.
And with the whole Derek Mason thing, will Vandy fans finally cut him some slack? Because he's got his recruiting classes coming in. He's built this defense the way he wants it to be, and I mean, honestly, great game. They held a high-powered offense in Kansas State to 7 points.
Yeah, it's a big deal, and I'm excited. We have Alabama next week. That's not going to be pretty. I don't feel like. I do think, however, I don't know what the spread is on this game. Probably Alabama by a few touchdowns, probably 3-4.
Oh, I'm sure.
I will say this though, the game will be a lot closer than what everybody thinks. Hopefully, because I just think the defense will hang in there. Jalen Hurts doesn't play a lot of great defenses. He played LSU. The 2 great defenses he's played since he's been at Alabama. Florida State, he tore the Florida State defense up, though.
Yeah, but they're still a great defense.
They're a good defense, but he ripped them up. LSU's defense last year, he struggled.
Mm-hmm.
Clemson in the national title game, he struggled.
Mm-hmm.
Vandy's not on the level of those 2 defenses, don't get me wrong, but there's potential there. We'll see. But, hey, we're not talking about the biggest upset in the state of Tennessee yesterday. The Memphis Tigers.
Dude, what a game they pulled off against UCLA.
Yeah.
I mean, and it's not Josh Rosen's fault by no means. He had a fantastic game.
Yeah, he's a good quarterback. Look, if I'm the Jets, if I'm the Browns, if I'm
the Bills,
I don't know. Like, there's a lot of bad teams. If I'm one of those guys and I don't get Sam Darnold, I think Josh Rosen could be good, if not better. He doesn't throw. Look, Sam Darnold, I like Sam Darnold a lot. I watched him last night play Texas. Great game. USC and Texas should play every year, by the way. That is an unbelievable matchup.
Ever since, dude, I feel like, I'm not sure how it was before because, granted, I was only 10 or 11 back when they played USC and Texas, back when it was Vince Young and Matt Leinart and Reggie Bush. But ever since that game, every time they've played, man, it's been so
They hadn't played
great.
until last night.
Exactly.
It was the first time since that game.
It was a great game, and I feel like every time they play is what I was trying to say. I feel like every time they play, it's going to be a great game.
Yeah, Sam Darnold, as much as I like him, and I think he's going to be a great quarterback, and he is a great quarterback, he has this thing about him that reminds me of Jameis Winston. And it's not a bad thing, because the guy wins. But he throws interceptions, a lot of them. Andrew Luck did the same thing, still does the same thing.
When he's on the field, of course.
Yeah, I don't think Andrew Luck plays this year, but we'll get to that in a minute. Sam Darnold throws too many interceptions for me. Josh Rosen is the guy. He's the guy he was groomed to be a quarterback basically his entire life. He seems like he sees the game a little bit better. He plays behind a horrid offensive line. Don't get me wrong. And he still puts up great numbers. And the guy, he doesn't make too many mistakes. Sam Darnold makes something out of nothing almost every single play.
I feel like with Sam Darnold and Winston and Luck, I feel like they trust their arm a little too much. They believe they're going to fit it in that tight window when it necessarily can be. And, sometimes it works out. But like you said, they do throw a lot of picks. And Sam Darnold does remind me a lot of Winston and Luck. I agree with you. But with Rosen, the way he is with the ball and the way he's really protective, he doesn't turn it over much. He reminds me a lot of Marcus Mariota.
He looks a little bit, he got some Drew Brees in him too.
I agree. I mean,
a little bit of Drew Brees, maybe a little more polished than what Drew Brees was.
A little more mobile too.
A lot more mobile, yeah. I like Josh Rosen. Josh Allen from Wyoming had a horrid night last night.
A lot of scouts. A lot of scouts were there too.
His stock is hitting the crapper.
Yeah, he's going from a potentially the guy, number one quarterback to, is he even going to be a first-round pick?
We'll see. It's way too early.
It's way too early. I agree, way too early.
But congratulations to Memphis on a big win. You know what? Look, anybody that schedules Memphis in the future, just so you know, as a program, you better not schedule the game at Memphis.
Yeah.
It better be a home game for you. Because if you're going to go into Memphis in the Liberty Bowl, they sell the place out. It's a rabid fan base. You might lose. Ask Ole Miss.
Mm-hmm.
Ask UCLA yesterday. Ask teams in the past. Not every year, but there are certain times when you go play Memphis at Memphis, that team's up, and they're ready for it, and they come through every time. And it's always a great game. It's always a high-scoring affair, a lot of points.
Memphis' offense is always, it's always putting up points.
Yeah, Riley Ferguson's a good quarterback.
Yeah, I remember he used to be at Tennessee, but...
Yeah, there's a lot of guys who used to be at Tennessee.
We had Worley, man. We had to start Worley, and when he got hurt, who'd we choose? We chose Joshua Dobbs.
Yeah, you had Nathan Peterman, too.
And Nathan Peterman.
Who's now Bill.
But, in my defense with Peterman, when he did get his chances, I'm not going to lie, he looked absolutely awful.
Yeah,
awful.
He turned his career around.
But the best thing he did was transferring to Pitt.
Yeah.
Best thing he did for himself.
Back to that USC-Texas game last night. That was absolutely nuts. Tom Herman, there's going to be some bumps in the road this first season in Austin. That's a good football team.
Definitely. And he's going to be... You got to give him a couple years to get his own recruits and get his own recruitment process.
It doesn't even matter about that, I don't think. I think it's just the fact they have to break the bad habits.
Exactly.
And as good as Charlie Strong is as a coach and as a guy and as a recruiter, the fact of the matter is they just couldn't close the deal last year.
No.
And last night, that was something that I really thought that I could see that was a definite change, is when Texas was on the ropes, they were down a couple touchdowns, they fought back, they got the game to overtime, and they gave themselves a chance to pull off the upset in L.A., in the Coliseum, in primetime, and they just came up a little bit short. But as much as it is a loss, it's a win, because Texas last 10 years...
Last year, that would have been a blowout.
They're not fighting back. They got blown out 2 weeks ago by Maryland.
Mm-hmm.
And, they scored a lot of points, but it was never as close as it was, and,
I feel like them coming back strong this week. Granted, they did lose, but them coming back and not feeling like, well, we're already out of it. Them showing fight is huge compared to last year.
And, they did it with a freshman quarterback. There's talent on that Texas roster.
Oh, definitely.
It's loaded. USC's a great football team now.
And Texas is only going to get better.
Yes. The Big 12, it's not that good.
No,
it's very top-heavy.
Yeah.
Oklahoma State, then who? It's to me, the Big 12 comes down to Bedlam. And then they'll probably meet again in the Big 12 has a championship game now, do they not?
I believe so.
Yeah, so they'll meet again. So it's 2 games, basically Bedlam Part 2. That's what the Big 12... And whoever wins that game, if they're undefeated, gets in the playoff, if you ask me.
I agree.
Because, Oklahoma State, they played Pitt yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
They have a good non-conference schedule, no cupcakes. Oklahoma just went up to Ohio State last weekend and put it on them.
Yep.
So that's a great non-conference win. If you're the Big 12... The division, the conference isn't great overall, but, you got Oklahoma. The state of Oklahoma is carrying the conference right now. And it might get them into the playoff, and I hope that it does, because I like Oklahoma State. That's a great offense, and what's there not to like about Baker Mayfield at Oklahoma? The dude is a...
I mean, he's had a troublesome offseason, but man, he's coming out on the field and he's putting them worries to rest. He's saying, "Listen,
I got a DUI."
Yeah, I mean, he's like, he made a mistake. He don't want you getting scared. His talent speaks for itself. And honestly, is he a first-round draft pick?
He could play himself into it.
I definitely agree. I mean, he has all the talent.
He has to win out, and I think he's got to put up big numbers. But, dude, he's a winner. And he's cocky, man. And look, I've seen it. He reminds me a lot of... he reminds me quite a bit of Johnny Manziel, kind of a Brett Favre type. Gunslinger, kind of cocky. Obviously, we saw how that turned out for Manziel, not very good, but Brett Favre worked out okay. Did it not? Brett Favre turned out to be pretty good.
Yeah.
He's a Pro Football Hall of Famer. He's, he threw a lot of interceptions, all-time leader in picks, but was the all-time leader in touchdowns.
Speaking of Brett Favre, let's talk a little NFL. Had several games going on today, but one I want to touch on is, Denver, man, laying it to Dallas, just laying it on them. Ends up winning 42-17. Trevor Siemian, 231 yards with 4 touchdowns, 1 interception. 7th-round draft pick, man.
Yeah, they played really good last week against the Chargers as well, and on Monday night.
Yeah.
That defense is still as good as it's always been.
I agree, and everybody says, you know what, when Paxton Lynch is healthy, that job's his. They go out and get Osweiler. Oh, he's probably going to take the job. But yet Simeon's like, guys, I've got this.
I'm playing pretty good, don't you
Exactly.
think?
I mean, is it going to continue like he started out hot last year and then faded off? We don't know yet. But as of right now, it's his job to lose.
I'll tell you what, bold prediction, the Cleveland Browns, even though they lost again today, they're 0-2. They're going to win 4 or 5 games this year.
I completely wholeheartedly agree with it.
Team. It's very good.
And they feel like their fan base has hope now that they have Deshaun Kaiser.
Yeah.
Granted, was he a top quarterback in the draft? Was he, better than Mitchell Trubisky, Deshaun Watson?
We'll see.
We'll see. It's too early to tell. Yeah. Was he favored to be like that? No, but he's come out and he showed that he's got the stuff.
What about Deshaun Watson on Thursday night? I thought he played really well.
I feel like he played well. He showed the it factor, but he wasn't consistent. He has to improve as a thrower. That's what I'm getting at. He has to improve. But with that big, long touchdown run he had, Texans fans should be, ecstatic.
They have hope on the offensive side of the ball.
I know Houston Texans are a younger franchise, but when the best quarterback in your franchise history is Matt Schaub.
Yeah, it's pretty bad.
Exactly. Matt Schaub had a few good seasons. Don't get me wrong, but at the end of the day, I wouldn't want to say Matt Schaub's best quarterback in my franchise history.
Well, all I'm saying is that defense isn't going to be that great forever.
No, that window closes. Every year J.J. Watt gets older.
They're going to have to be competent on offense. Because, look, the fact of the matter is the Titans had a huge win today.
Oh, yes.
Blew the doors off Jacksonville.
37-16. Derrick Henry looked good.
It wasn't even that close.
No.
Really. It was 30-3 for most of the game.
The first half was ugly.
Yeah.
But the second half, man.
And Mariota, he played well.
He ended his streak of, no interceptions in the red zone.
He did.
But
that happens.
As you were saying,
that division is up for grabs.
Yes.
It's Tennessee and Houston's division to fight it out for because Jacksonville's not there. Indianapolis is a mess.
Yeah, Jacksonville, their defense is very much improved. But Blake Bortles is not the answer.
Outside of Leonard Fournette, I don't know what they have on offense.
Allen Robinson's a good receiver, but he's done for the year.
Yeah, he's out. He's on the shelf.
It's not happening.
Fournette's good.
Yeah, honestly,
Leonard Fournette reminds me of a young Adrian Peterson.
Yeah, out of all the rookie running backs, I'm not going to lie. Before the season, I thought Leonard Fournette had the most potential to be a bust. But, he came out week 1 and proved me wrong, man. He's the real deal.
He reminds me of a mixture between like a young Marshawn Lynch and Adrian Peterson. Because he's fast.
But he's also
surprisingly fast, but he will absolutely run you over.
He will. Marshawn Lynch last week, man, he put Jarrell Casey on his back.
Yeah.
One of the best defensive tackles in the game.
Yeah, he flat-backed him. That had to have been pretty embarrassing.
Put him on his back.
Put it on his back.
He showed beast mode is not gone.
Then he flipped the double bird and got fined $12,000. So that's Marshawn being Marshawn, though. I feel like that guy's so enigmatic. I love him. I love watching him play football. I do.
He's fun to watch.
He has fun playing football, and that's all he wants to do is play ball.
Yep.
He doesn't want to do anything else. He doesn't want to talk about it. And I like that about him. But the AFC South's up for grabs. This AFC West is turning into the best division in all of football.
Every team's 2-0 except the Chargers.
And the Chargers have lost by 6 points.
Yeah, I mean, they're not a bad team.
5 points.
They're not a bad team. I mean, Phillip Rivers, man, I feel like everybody gives him... He throws a lot of picks in his career. He's thrown several picks. But he has so much fight, man. To come back last week against the Broncos, I thought that game was done. I thought it was over, but they came storming back. And 2 rookie head coaches, I mean, last week, how about Vance Joseph calling that timeout to ice Q, who ends up making the kick. Rookie kicker makes it, but then ices him. So that second attempt, he gets blocked.
He didn't ice him, though. That kick would have been good.
It would have been good, but he
would
called...
have been good if it wouldn't have been...
I mean, it's called icing the kicker if you call timeout before he kicks.
Yeah, he got iced, but I don't think that affected that kid.
Maybe not, but
He was gonna make that
time,
field the
at the
second
same
one.
time, though, I mean, he also made adjustments.
Yeah.
He knows Kuz, he's not that tall for a kicker.
No.
And he realized, hey, the projected path of the ball, he subbed in one of his bigger guys and he sticks that arm up there and gets the block.
Well, to get back to that, I think personally, just watching the ball come off his foot, that was going to go in too.
I think it was going.
And that has nothing to do with the kicker. That long snapper, he's busted his coverage. Like, he didn't sit up and protect the guy in front of him. All he had to do was stop him for a split second to let the ball get above his head. And that would have been good. The game would have went to overtime.
Yeah, but for a rookie head coach to have the awareness to say, hey, I better put this guy in because he's much bigger.
Yeah.
I mean, it pays off. It paid off.
I mean, I think it was a good Vance Joseph's off to a heck of a start in Denver.
Yes, he is.
He's 2-0, and they beat the Cowboys. And I don't know how good Dallas is going to be this year.
Dak Prescott does. Sorry, Cowboys fans, but he does not. I mean, I think he's hitting that sophomore slump.
How many interceptions? How do you go today? What was the stat line?
I mean, Dak Prescott was 30 of 50 for 238 yards.
Why are you throwing 50 passes a game when you have Ezekiel Elliott?
Well, Ezekiel Elliott only had 9 carries for 8 yards. But, I mean, you got to think they're playing comeback. I mean, they were playing catch-up the whole game pretty much.
Well,
but another thing is with...
suspended, I guess, this week. It's not like he showed up anyway.
Man. But with the weather coming in and, the game was suspended, delayed for the inclement weather, it may have threw the Cowboys out of rhythm, but either way, I don't think Ezekiel Elliott has a big day regardless. But Dak was 30 of 50 for 238 yards, 2 touchdowns, and 2 picks.
Yeah, not the best stat line.
Now, I mean, granted, he is playing the best defense in football.
I don't know how.
But
I don't know how.
You got to get it done.
Dak showed a lot last year, but I'm still not sold on him. I'm not
either. I mean, don't get me wrong.
I'm
he's
more sold on Carson Wentz than I am Dak.
Yeah,
Prescott.
I mean, Dak Prescott's a good quarterback, but it takes more than one season to make you great.
He's kind of more of a game manager. I haven't seen him win a game.
Quarterbacks don't like that word.
I'm sorry. What have you done for me? What have you done so far in your career that has made me think, and personally, he won that game for Dallas. I've never seen it. Every game that they won last year, they were up.
Don't hate about him now. In the preseason, he looked like a young Michael Vick out there.
His rookie preseason?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, but he only earned the job.
I'm just joking. But
Romo broke his back.
Exactly.
And now he's with CBS. And
dude, how about Romo, man? He's
good.
He is a great broadcaster.
I like him.
Predicting plays, getting them right.
I think he makes people hate Jim Nantz, and that's very hard to do.
Jim Nantz not only that, but I think he makes Phil Simms look even worse than Phil Simms made himself look.
Yeah, it's bad. I hate to be Phil Simms, honestly. Poor guy.
I mean, Romo, man, he makes you want to watch the game to continue to watch it.
Yeah, he's you know what? I don't know. I like it.
I like it too.
I enjoy watching him do his thing. I think he found a great career. Is he going to stay? Is there going to be a team that calls him and says, "Hey, Tony, we'd like to throw you $10 million and come play for." Jay Cutler did it.
But another thing is I feel like he really thoroughly enjoys it though.
Yeah, I do too. I think he really likes playing. I believe that if he can't play quarterback for the Dallas Cowboys, this is the second best thing.
Yeah.
And he's loving it.
I mean, you can tell he loves it. And I mean, just like last week, he was calling the Titans-Oakland game. And Jim Nantz, he predicts the play, and Jim Nantz asks what he sees there. And his comment is, "Well, I've seen NFL football for the past 14 years."
Yeah.
I mean,
the only thing he should fix is getting a little more dumbing down some of his terminology. That's the only thing for
a lot of fans,
for an audience.
Yeah, I mean, I love football.
Yeah, I kind of could hear what he was saying.
And I understand things he's saying, but at the end of the day, I've never played an actual game of football.
I don't know those terms.
Yeah, I mean, I never played high school football.
I don't know the terms of it, an X or Y, and he'll be fine. Those are things that'll come along with him doing the job more often.
Yeah.
But I thought it was a heck of a start. I do.
I mean, he's been great.
Yeah, so we have one more big topic to talk about.
And honestly, guys, I'm ecstatic about it.
This is the Windians.
Yeah, the Windians. Yeah, as you know, man, they had a 22-game win streak. They got to 22 by walking it off in extras, and then that 23rd, man, it was snapped a couple days ago by the Kansas City Royals. It's the longest win streak since 2002, back when the Moneyball Oakland A's won 20 in a row. And
just so we know, this Cleveland Indians team, much better than that 2002 Oakland A's team.
Oh, by far.
I mean, this is a baseball club that was an out away from the World Series last year in Game 7.
Yeah, I mean, Game 7. And granted, they did lose to the Cubs, but the Cubs were a good team. Ends a drought. But my point is with this win streak being 22 games, lasting 22 games, I mean, the longest win streak ever in the history of baseball occurred in 1916, and it's 26 straight games. Do you know how hard it is to go out there day in and day out and win 20-plus ball games in a row?
I think baseball has to be the hardest sport out of the Big Four to do it.
Yeah,
you play so many games, and it's so taxing. Basketball, we've seen teams get on a run.
Yeah, I mean, the Houston Rockets.
The
few
Warriors,
years ago.
The Warriors started off 24-0.
Exactly.
There's the football, we've seen the Patriots go undefeated. The Dolphins
I mean, how many, and not just on the professional level, I mean, collegiate level, how many times do you see Alabama go undefeated all year? Basketball, how many seasons did UCLA go undefeated? How many wins in a row did they have under John Wooden? Even women's basketball under Gino Auriemma in Connecticut at UConn.
They win like 100. They win 100 in a row.
I mean, it's crazy.
Every couple of years, it's crazy. Yeah, it is. What they did was unbelievable. I hope they didn't peak too early because it's just the middle of September and you want to be good in October. But I don't see anybody in the American League beating Cleveland. I don't.
The only potential team I see that has a chance is the Houston Astros, but I don't think they're going to have enough. They have enough offensively, but that pitching, man, and they have improved their rotation by going out and getting Verlander. But the Indians are so good. And the reason I said at the beginning of this segment why I'm so ecstatic about it, because every year it seems like you hear people talking about how baseball's dying. But, I mean, is it really? Their ratings have been higher than NFL so far this season as far as primetime games, nationally televised games. And for those 22 games with NFL coming back, college football starting,
it was a good way to keep baseball in the news.
Definitely. I mean, it was relevant. I mean, they were right there with them in story-wise. And it just, as a true baseball fan, it was nice to see a lot of people, come together to watch baseball. Because at the end of the day, baseball is not dying. It's nowhere near dying. And I was talking to one of our good buddies earlier this week, Moose Michaels. He's a radio host.
Moose.
He was talking about how, baseball is one of the more family-friendly sports. Because if you think about it, you can go lower level to a baseball game, sit lower level for $60 a piece.
Yeah.
You go to an NBA game or NFL game, you're paying easily $100+.
Yeah. Are the Indians this year's Cubs? I feel it.
I think so. I mean,
I feel it.
How long has it been since the Indians have won?
68, 69 years.
I mean, it's been several. A long time. Granted, it's not 100+ like it was for the Cubs, but a long time.
That curse is over, and this is the current longest drought.
Yeah,
is the Cleveland Indians, and they're hot. And everybody will. I have no problem seeing them win the World Series.
I don't either.
So close last year.
I mean, that was a ball game last year.
That was one of the greatest World Series I've ever seen.
I mean, it was one of the best Game 7s out of any sport I've ever seen.
Ever.
I mean, it was fantastic.
It's top 3, easily.
And
easily.
My only thing with the Indians, man, is like you said before the show, have they peaked too soon?
Well, there's no way to find that out till the playoffs start, but they have such a lead. They're going to get in. They're going to get a bye. I don't see how it's going to be an issue. I mean, personally, I don't see.
When you say bye, you're obviously talking about, they're not having to play in that one-game playoff.
Yeah, they're not.
And
they don't have to play in the wild card game.
Yeah, I wish the MLB would change that from one game to best of three, because at least best of three. Because in baseball, one game does not make you a better team. Because how many times, San Francisco Giants this year have not been good at all. They still have won games, That doesn't mean when they won, they're obviously legitimately better. They were just better for that day.
Yeah, well, I like the one-game playoff.
I like it. It's interesting.
The reason that it's that way, if you ask me personally, it's because for a long time there wasn't a wild card team, correct?
For a while, and then
a long time.
Yeah, and then they had it, and it was just the one wild card.
Yeah, now there's 2, 3.
Yeah, 2.
Well, you didn't really make the playoffs. You were good enough to get a wild card game. Basically, if you ask me, the wild card game is game 163.
I agree. It's who's going to get in.
Yeah,
to me,
it's not really like you made the playoffs because you're in the wild card
and
game.
I'm not going to lie.
That's why I appreciate the one game, because to me the playoffs start in the divisional series.
Yeah,
the wild card games are great.
I completely agree with that, and the wild card games are great. The only reason I hate it is because honestly, man, it's broke my heart.
Yeah.
Chipper's last year, Chipper Jones. I'm a huge Chipper Jones fan. He can never do no wrong in my eyes. Honestly, I don't know if he could do anything wrong in my eyes.
I'm currently staring at a Chipper Jones bobblehead about 10 foot away from me.
Yeah, and I have a Chipper Jones fat head. I don't have it up right now, but I have a Chipper Jones fat head. He's my guy. He's my idol. I grew up watching him. I love him. And it's his last year, and we're playing the godforsaken Cardinals, man. And I'm sure everybody remembers, the infield fly. Wasn't an infield fly. I still to this day say no. But honestly, it's an infield fly if the infielder gets camped up under the ball. It don't matter where it's at. But that play single-handedly broke my heart.
Yeah. Well, you're used to getting your heart broken. You're a Tennessee fan, remember?
Yeah, that feeling when you find out next year isn't this year. Because it's always wait till next year.
It all comes back. It all comes back to being a Tennessee fan, man. That's where the root of all the issues are.
I guess it does, guys.
Being a Tennessee fan, I don't know.
I guess it's true. I just got to get used to having my heart broke.
Thank God I'm not a Tennessee fan.
You're a Vandy fan.
Yeah, but see, that makes me more prepared for losing.
I agree, guys.
I have a better outlook on being losing. It's okay. It's not the end of the world. I think I'll have a better outlook on life because I'm a Vandy fan. I swear to God.
You probably do, because at the end of the day,
losing is not everything.
Yeah.
Winning is not everything.
But a day's going to come, man, where you're going to get your hopes up, and Vandy's going to have you believing hard.
Yeah.
And then it's just going to come crashing down.
Yeah, well, see, that's okay if it happens to me once or twice in a lifetime. For Tennessee fans,
it'd be a learning experience for you.
For Tennessee fans, it happens every Saturday, so.
Oh man, what a low blow!
It happens every Saturday,
guys. I'm gonna have to get out on that one.
Yeah,
now.
He's getting heated. We have to end it. We have to. I'm just saying, you almost couldn't beat Georgia Tech. You shouldn't have won that game. First of all, you blew out Indiana State. Okay, that's a cupcake. And then you pooped the bed yesterday in the swamp again.
In the swamp.
Yeah, but listen.
Oh, man.
You have Alabama, you have Georgia, you have LSU, and you have that team in Nashville that's undefeated. Oh, yeah, that's right. Vanderbilt, all left on your schedule. Just so you know, it's going to be a rough year on Rocky Top.
Oh, it is.
It's rough.
Like I was saying earlier,
rough.
I feel like that's going to be the first loss of 5. I just feel like, dude. How do you respond from that?
Last thing, and then we're out of here, is Butch Jones make it through the season?
He's going to have to beat Georgia, and he's going to have to beat Vanderbilt. Obviously, you can't expect him to beat Alabama, but if he does not beat Georgia and Vanderbilt, I'd have to wash my hands. And it's not that Butch Jones isn't a good guy. He's a great guy. He does a lot for the community.
He's just not a good football
they even
coach.
had a great gesture. They made it a point to put on their helmets Florida Strong due to Hurricane Irma. I absolutely loved that. But at the end of the day, he's getting paid to perform. He's getting paid to have a team go out there and compete day in and day out. And Tennessee, there's no excuse for them not to have won the East under Coach Jones's tenure.
He's just not a very good football coach.
No.
X's and O's, everything else he's great.
Mm-hmm.
X's and O's, not so much. Last thing, if they do fire Butch Jones, who would you like to see as the next head coach?
I'd love to go get Chip Kelly. Obviously, I'd like to get Chip Kelly, but if I could, I'd love to get John Gruden. But I don't think Gruden's leaving the booth.
I don't think John Gruden.
Every year, it's Tennessee. We're going to go get Gruden. And as much as I'd love that, I feel like it's highly unlikely.
I don't see it happening.
I don't either. But I think Chip Kelly's fast-paced offense, man, I think it could do wonders in the SEC.
I do too. All right, guys. Well, that's the show this week. We appreciate you listening.
Yeah, thanks, guys, for listening to another edition of Cover 2 Sports. I'm Chase Hope.
I'm Luke Sullivan.
And remember, guys, we don't blow any coverages.
Unless you're Tennessee's defense.
Another low blow. See you next week.